Good afternoon, happy Saturday. There are a few things to go over, and excuse my chicken scratching. Prior to getting into it, I want to remind you that everything I say is subject to the forward-looking statements at the beginning of this presentation, so please read those statements in detail, as well as the public filings of each of Camber Energy Inc., CEI, and Viking Energy Group, VKIN. So let's start with Camber. Status of the outstanding filings at Camber. You'll recall we filed in November of 2021 restated financials that were required to correct the previous characterization of the sale of the company's Series C preferred stock. The SEC is reviewing those filings just to make sure their analysis of the accounting treatment aligns with ours, and it's in their court at the moment. There truly is nothing we can do at the moment until the SEC advises they have no further questions or comments. The auditor won't allow us to file the outstanding financial statements, the other four that have been ready to go for a couple of months now. The auditor won't authorize those filings, which is typical. No other auditor would either, until we get further clarification from the SEC that they have no more questions. So there's nothing we can do. We reach out to the SEC on a regular basis, ask if they need us for anything, and they've advised that no, they're just reviewing everything and they'll go back to us when they can. So that truly is outside our control. So in the interim, we're focusing on things that are within our control. So let's just do a quick recap, starting at the Camber level, on some of the things we've accomplished over the last 30 to 90 days at Camber. So that includes, you'll remember that there are promissory notes at Camber that have been outstanding for a while, at least since December 2020, and with respect to two of the notes. We improved the terms of those notes. We extended the maturity dates to 2027. We dropped the interest rate materially with discussions with the lender, of course. And we fixed the conversion price of those notes at $1.50 a share. The other thing we did recently is we extinguished over 40% of the outstanding Series C preferred shares at Camber to minimize or lessen the dilution at that level. And then we also put in place a $100 million financing arrangement for Camber. And in our view, I think we can get even better terms than this financing arrangement, but we view it as an insurance plan. We don't have to take that money, but we have this commitment that we can use as a backstop to facilitate growth for the entire organization. But again, if we don't want it, we can redeem the outstanding shares in whole or in part prior to the funding dates. So it's a nice backup plan to have. The organization has never had a backup plan of this kind ever. At the Viking level, what have we done here over the last 90 to 120 days? Well, it includes, number one, strengthening the organization's balance sheet. We've reduced the debt at the subsidiary level by over $100 million by selling divisions that were subject to high interest loans and hedge arrangements that limited our upside on certain oil and gas production. So eliminating that debt we view as a very positive thing. Of course, when you sell the divisions, you sell the revenue stream associated with it. However, we've made up for that when we acquired the controlling interest in Simpson Maxwell. Other things we've done, of course, licensed the patented carbon capture technology from ESG Clean Energy. And just a quick update on that. Like many companies, they were affected by supply chain issues associated with the pandemic, but they've got some much needed parts. And the power generation component of their site in Holyoke should be up and running here mid to late February and be producing distilled water in March and then capturing the CO2 in April of this year. So this will serve as a catalyst. We've had a lot of discussions with interested parties in Canada who are anxious to see this facility up and running, and then we'll be in a position once that happens to finalize negotiations with some of the groups that we're talking with. And recently, you'll observe from some of the press releases that we entered into a joint venture arrangement. We acquired a 51% interest in a company that owns the intellectual property associated with a biomedical waste disposal system using ozone technology. It's innovative, cutting edge, and what I like most about these arrangements, you'll remember that the majority of the consideration that was due under this license agreement, they accepted that in stock of Viking. Here, the consideration, and a lot of it is subject to certain sales targets being met, but the consideration being paid in stock of Viking. So what does that mean? It means alignment. Not only do these people believe in their technology and their products, but they believe in Viking's overall vision. And prior to closing this deal, of course, we're in the fortunate position to be able to leverage the infrastructure and personnel at Simpson Maxwell, a company that's been in business for 80 years and is highly respected in the industry for building sophisticated custom energy solutions and power generation systems. And so before closing this joint venture, not only did we have to investigate the unit and the system, make sure that we could manufacture it without any additional capex, but we made sure that Simpson Maxwell was an approved vendor within a hospital association trust that manages hundreds of hospitals in the UK, and that is the association through which we intend to make our first sales of this system. So prior to closing the joint venture, we made sure Simpson Maxwell was an approved vendor within that association, which we received, and then we closed the joint venture. So we'll share more details on this as we sell the first units, and then we have some other opportunities that we're pursuing right now that we hope to be able to share with you in the very near future. But again, despite certain things being out of our control, we're making a lot of progress in a short period of time, that things that are within our control, and we're excited about these ventures as well as the others that we're pursuing. So hope to be back to you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.